Hi, welcome to It's a Long Story. So, I'm doing this discussion on one of the most prevailing circumstances in the job market in the COVID 19 2020 crisis. So, in this situation, in the time of pandemic, right? So, some of us has lost their jobs, and it it creates a lot of emotional turmoil in us, and it's a case where a lot of balance uh, and the way of a structured thought process in chaos time of chaos needs to be achieved. So it's a very difficult and straining time. So I would say I'm one of maybe a better uh, example to discuss this, because I have gone through this very recently, just a few months back. So this would actually so the objective of this whole this arrangement is uh, to be able to uh, maybe to an outsider who has never gone through this, it's an idea of like what a person goes through. Maybe he can empathize better with such a person, such a situation, and help someone who needs it. And more useful will be to the one who has actually faced this. And maybe you have already faced this and come out of this, and you would actually even love to hear this and relate and even share your personal experiences in the comment section. So for me, it was uh, and of course, okay, sorry. So I want to talk about the main target audience for this one. So main target audience would be the people who has actually faced this situation and are in this crisis now. So what can we gather from this discussion? Uh, so I to coming to me, I worked in multiple companies. I have more than 12 years of experience, job experience. I am now a senior engineer, uh, very much like an architect in the team. Uh, so I take responsibility of guiding the juniors and also the design discussions, etc. Uh, so I also code. So I'm involved in coding. I'm a technical guy who loves to code. So that's about me. Uh, so I lost my job on the 1st of June. I was called to the office suddenly one fine day, and so I was told that they cannot keep me anymore uh, on their pay scale, right? Uh, so with my pay scale and with my seniority level, they did not see any requirement for me there anymore. Okay, so they let me go, and so that's when I was not expecting this. It was very much like a ball from the blue, you can say. It was pretty devastating. That day was a pretty devastating experience for me. I took my whatever I could collect, whatever was given to me as the advanced pay, right? I just as a process took it and deposit in the bank, thinking, hey, I should be able to collect something from this that will let me survive over the next couple of months to be able to get a job within that time frame. I was totally clueless to the moment of what would I do. I did not have a job now. I have no monthly stream of income. I had a shock that troubled my thoughts about my credibility in the job market. So am I good enough? What did go wrong? So will I get a job again? what will I, how will I relate this to my, my relations, right? My wife, I had a 1 year kid. Uh, Actually, at that time, he was around 10, around 10, 11 months actually. Okay. So now, so there's so many thoughts running in my head. It was a chaotic place there. And how do I get out of this? Very simple question, but very difficult to answer. I took my time, you know, I just, uh, I let those emotions run through me. It was very difficult. I let those emotions run through me. I did not call my family members. I was quiet for hours together. I went in the morning, I remember. And when I came back, I, for on my way, I deposited the check, the advance pay. I went to my room. I came back, cleaned up. I was too tired to think. I was very worried. Man, there was so much of a turmoil of emotions. I just hit the bed. I went to sleep. Okay. Then I did not. So after I took some maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of nap, 2 hours I slept, I think. And then when I came out of that nap, I totally decided that I have to now share with my family members. I structured my thoughts around this. I let them know. It was a very big shock to them. Very big shock. I then decided that I will not I will not pursue the search for a job right away. I totally that I was able to figure it out in my head that I was not in a very stable form of mindset that is like that will be in a good position to be able to take the next step. That is the next step is to be able to prepare yourself for a job and search for it and get it. So these steps require some planning and execution, right? And you cannot lose too many chances. It's like you can go with losing a few chances if you had already a job and you're looking for it and you're trying out something now. But if you don't have a job, so every chance is vital, right? So you cannot lose too many chances. You can lose some, but not too many. Okay. So you need to have a well laid out plan to go about it so that if your actions count, your return on investment is good, it's effective. So what did I do? I I took I talked to my brother-in-law. I talked to my wife and my father-in-law, my relations. They were pretty devastated. They were pretty shocked. They threw a lot of anger at the establishment. But I stayed away from such thoughts. I did not think uh, in my own way that it's that any establishment would fire someone just like that. So they had their own reasons, and there is a justification for that. You have to accept it and move on. It's hard, but yes, so you have to accept it and move on. However, my it might be a so unless it is very blatantly wrong. I mean, it's not was not something like that. They had their reasons. You have to respect that and move on. And in my head, I did that. That was a very important thing. You have to accept. So the first thing here, the first few points here, not to react when you're in such an emotional turmoil. You should not react. You should be an observer to emotions. You should, and the next thing that was very important was that uh, you should accept the situation as a reality and move on. That's very important. Not to get stuck in that moment. Your emotion, let the emotions run through. Don't fight them. It's a human emotion. They have their place. Respect that. And then take up the next steps when you have a sane mind, your balanced mindset. That's when your mind will be fully effective to draw out a well laid out plan of execution. So this was very important. So believe it or not, I had a plan of getting a job in 1 month, and I got a job in 1 month. That's the way I planned it out. So that's the effectiveness of a good, well laid out plan. So I can proudly say that I did my part. I played my part pretty effectively. So I I took 3 days off. I told to my brother-in-law I will not be doing anything. I'll be after 3 days. I will start planning. I will not do any look out for a job yet. I will lay out the exact concrete plan. Some some concrete plan. Now, you will not have everything known upfront, but you will have something in place, right? You should have something in place. Plans can change, right? So so I so it's very nice thing back that it all worked out well. But okay, so so I took 3 days off. I drove around. I was alone actually, so that added to the pressure, right? I did not have anybody to talk to in person. So I was all alone at home. My family and everyone were at the native place. I was alone at home. Uh, okay. So and they were pretty far away from here. They live. So and it's a bit of a much more tricky situation if when you are totally alone. You have to look after yourself all throughout, through and through. Your physical needs, mental needs, psychological needs, right? Everything has to be taken care of. So you have to be tough. There is no second place for that. There is no alternative actually. So I had to calm myself. You have to take care of yourself. So I used to drive around in the morning. Every day I drove around. I I ordered food. I did not cook anything. I watched movies. I watched YouTube videos. I did literally lived like nothing had happened. The main idea was not that ignore the reality that happened, but to calm myself, to be first make myself normal, make myself able to handle the situation in a rational way, to think rationally and effectively. That was the target. So that's what one so that's the next step. To be able to relax, take 3 days or maybe 1 week also you can take off. And after around 3 days, pass over, you will realize that your mind will start working on the options of how to formulate and how to do, even though you are not actively working on a plan. Your brain will start actually function and lay out a plan for you, believe it or not. So that actually started happening for me. Options started popping up. You will they actually surface on their own, and then you can actually structure them much more better later on, right? When you're actively working on a plan. So I had a very clear plan. Okay, I will reach out to these people in this order: my friends, my past managers, my colleagues, my network. Leverage the network. That's a very good idea, right? Leverage the network. Take help that you need. You are not alone. Take help that you need. This is the time to take the help. So you need to prioritize whom do you want to contact first, second, third. Highest chance of success rate, second highest, third highest. You can just put them in line and start contacting them. And the next is, of course, but that comes later. Before, you need to clarify what kind of a job you are looking for, right? The resume. Build a resume. Good structured resume that catches the eye. Not long, 2-3 pages, right? At max four. You should not reach four, even 3 pages, good enough. So that is a whole together different thing, how to build a resume. So it has to be clear and distinct. Okay. So I took my brother-in-law's help to build a resume. He had good experience around this. And then I went for the contacts, my networks, leveraging the network. So once that is done, once you start put the word out that you're looking for a job, don't have a job, like you just tell them off straight. It's very difficult to say, it's embarrassing almost to say, it's very much embarrassing to tell. And also, very importantly, take help from your past colleagues, place where you worked, the managers, the senior people. I set up calls with them. I told them I put a beautifully laid out mail to organization that I'm leaving, to my colleagues and everyone. That's very important. That's what I did that evening, actually, the evening that I came back. I knew that this was the first thing. Yes, so this one to bid a very respectable farewell, right? To put a nice word out, a farewell word out, right? I put put in the respect that is needed, the experiences that I gathered, the help that I got. So I everything put it out there in a mail. It's very important. And I also told them that I might need some of your help, right? I so since it's very important to do it early, because that is when the event has happened. That's the heat of the moment. That's when the mail is most effective. That's when you can actually ask to connect with these people, and you will get the best feedback and connection, direction, whatever you may put it. You will get some idea best. You can connect with the people and get an idea, like, about the project areas that you are not aware of, what areas you can improve on, how can you present yourself in the job market, do you have any references, right? So you can ask, you can gather more knowledge, you can get feedback, you can your positioning in the market, right, and your connection network leverage these points. So I conducted these discussions within a span of a week with 4 or 5 persons from my colleagues. That was just very vital. I structured a whole presentation and whole spread of the knowledge that needs to be worked on, to be presented, and will become a platform going forward. So once this all my resume building with my brother-in-law, my project information and collation and positioning, okay, of your all this. So be open. So this was a very groundwork framework, and of course, believe it or not, this helped a lot to build this after I had taken some time out to relax, 2 3 days, 4 days. You can make it even 1 week, and then I progressed. I started putting up in Naukri my resume. The Naukri resume came later. The first I contact my networks, right? Networking. The I did not follow more than two job sites. You cannot, then the quality will get reduced. The quality of follow-ups will get diluted. So I just did one. Naukri I did, and maybe one more at max. But I put it out there, and Face and LinkedIn definitely. LinkedIn is a very important professional site that you should leverage. Find jobs there, apply for them, and it's basically I use LinkedIn and Naukri, and I applied to almost every position. I knew that I may not get a call for everyone, right? So you can get a percentage of the total number of applications that you apply out of all, right? So I kept on applying, and I started getting calls. I told my wife in 1 month I'll be getting a job. Not one offers, but two offers. So, and I started getting these interviews, and over time I started preparing. The preparation was not like bookish, and it's not like I read books, loads and loads of books and references and etc. I did not do that. I did not have the time. So the one of the best way to look up ideas, information is YouTube video, which is pretty fast. So you can because it's more visually engaging. Okay, you can also speed up the interactions. You can There's so much content out there in YouTube. For me as a technical person, I was able to get so many content for one topic, and I could follow which is the shortest one, which is the most latest one. Check the date, check the number of viewers, check the length of the video, and watch it, right? So I bookmarked these videos, I watched them, I kept watching them over time. And if I had some lingering doubts and gaps in the video which I needed to clear, I googled it. That's it. And I tried some coding practices here and there. I made sure my time was well spent across updating the resume, because resume was continuously evolving, and my position that I was applying to, don't be fixed about that. Maybe keep two positions at most, but best to focus on one position. I started on Scrum Master Project Manager because I had the Scrum Master certificate, and at the time my confidence was low. That would I do be as a good technical guy? But my heart was in technicalities all through in my career. Then I got bold. Over time, as the confidence grew by giving the interviews, I moved to the totally. I moved to a technical. I was actually spreading myself between technical positions and management positions, managerial or scrum master positions. I moved totally focused on the technicals. My resume, I had managed two resumes. Then I shifted to one resume format for technical areas, and that's how I did it. Over time you become more smooth. Of course, it's a general trend. When you give more and more interviews, you get better at it. You watch more of the YouTube videos, do more googling, Stack Overflow, do some coding. Okay, coding practices, puzzles. Okay, those are normal things that we do. So thing is that the following of YouTube videos for your knowledge, accessing the knowledge and filling the gaps through Google was a very good strategy that I used. I got a whiteboard. I used to write items on there, what I did, what is required, the spread of knowledge, and also the companies that I applied to. What is the state? What is the only those companies I used to keep that have my highest target, highest probability, and I kept filtering them, those companies. And by so in June, 1st of June, I had lost my job. In the second week, I actually started looking for my job. After 8 or 9, actually, I started looking for a job. Then by 15th, actually, my search was much more on the technical side. Started moving towards the technical side. I had become much more effective in searching for a job in after 15th, because I was much more clear about what position I was looking for, what best fit I am, and I was starting to get the rhythm. By 21st, I was getting the rhythm of the interviews. I was clearing many of the rounds actually. Say around I cleared uh, with strength most of the interviews actually. Highest must say that it was the highest performance rate in my history of all interviews that I've given. And in 1 month's time, if you see after 7th, I had the first offer letter, and in 3 4 follow-up days, I got another offer letter. I had more offer letters that were actually in the pipeline, but I canceled them. So I had one secure backup through my past manager relationship. So in effect, I had actually three secure job offers in my hand, and now I am in a multinational company with a good position, with a good package, much higher than the my past company. So so this was an effective way of going through this tough phase. So I did not. So one of the most important features of the whole through was that never in the position I went into defensive mode. My position was always in the aggressive position. I was not looking at that only I'll be able to do this much of my job, this kind of a job. No, I was looking at challenging myself and taking up positions that some people might have thought that at that time I was not even a good fit for, but I believe that I'm a good fit for. So push yourself forward, be aggressive. So attack is the best form of defense. It is very well known and widely said, and it really works. So be on the offensive. Go out and believe that the opportunity is out there for you, right round, just round the corner. It will come out in your discussions. It will come out in your interactions. Your body language will speak for itself. Your tone uh, will talk for itself. Actually, I did many ways. I even talk. to in front of the mirror, practiced speaking out. Even though no one was there, I had hand gestures, movement, body language, I did everything. Even I downloaded an app that actually manages the tone of your voice, confidence level, right? The tone, how level and balanced is your tone. I practiced it before every interview. Not so a sentence used to come, English phrase or something, and you need to speak it out, and your tone would be get recorded. How did it fare in your, how balanced was your tone, and how did it hear? You can hear yourself speaking. A very short sentence, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, and that. So I prepared complete end to end. I tried to make it so I left very few gaps to be filled, and it worked very well for me, and it will work for you as well if you're looking for a job now. Believe me, it's waiting right there for you. Just go and grab it. Execute your plan. Have a good laid out plan. Work to your work to your advantage. What advantages do you have? Leverage them, target them, use them to their fullest. I'm assure you that you will get a better job than the last one, like just like me, and you will fare better. You will be better off in life. And believe it or not, I am thankful that I got fired from my last job. I have a better job now. I am happier. My family is happier. Everybody is happy. You will be also happy. So with that, I bid adieu. My best wishes. Take care. Goodbye.